For 100 years, humanity believed the walls were eternal. 3 concentric rings of stone so tall they scraped the heavens, Maria, Rose, and Sina. Inside, people farmed, traded, laughed, and dreamed, safe in the illusion that the outside world was nothing but death. The Titans, those towering, mindless giants, had become myths to most. But myths, like walls, only stand until someone decides to break them. The camera of memory pans over the peaceful district of Shiganshina, morning sunlight spilling across the rooftops. Wooden carts creak down cobblestone streets, and children chase after a merchant's bell. Among them, a boy with fire in his eyes, Eren Yeager, running through the streets with a reckless urgency that already hints at the destiny burning inside him. Eren dreams of freedom, a word that means nothing inside walls but everything beyond them. To him, the world outside isn't a threat, it's a promise. At his side is Armin Arlert, fragile in body but unbreakable in mind. Armin shows him a contraband book, a forbidden relic describing oceans, deserts, and mountains of fire. If these things exist, Armin whispers, then why should we stay trapped? Their laughter is innocent, almost naive. Nearby, Mikasa Ackerman watches them quietly, her presence steady and strong, the silent guardian bound by love and trauma. But that morning, even the wind feels heavy. The birds fly not inward, but away, toward the horizon. When it happens, it's not a sound. It's a roar. The ground trembles. The sky darkens. People look up, and the world splits open. Over the outer wall of Maria, a face looms. Not human. Not divine. A colossal being, 50 meters tall, skinless, steaming, its muscles rippling like molten sinew. The colossal Titan. He stares down at humanity's last refuge, expressionless, godlike, inevitable. Then, with one swing of his foot, he kicks a hole through the wall that had protected mankind for generations. The shockwave tears through Shiganshina. Wooden homes explode into splinters, fire and smoke swallow the streets, and the Titans, smaller, grinning horrors, pour in like floodwater. The illusion of safety dies in seconds. Eren runs home through chaos, screaming civilians, collapsing walls, the air thick with dust and terror. He reaches his house, only to find it crushed beneath the debris. His mother, Carla Yeager, is trapped under the wreckage. She's alive, barely. Eren and Mikasa try to pull her free, but the beams won't budge. Her voice, calm but shaking, tells them to run. Behind them, a Titan's shadow stretches across the burning street. Then, Hannes, the soldier, arrives. A man once brave, now trembling. He raises his blade, but when he sees the Titan's massive face, he falters. His courage turns to paralysis. Instead of fighting, he grabs Eren and Mikasa and runs. Eren screams, reaching toward his mother, and in that moment, he sees the Titan lift her, hear the crack of her bones, and watch his mother devoured alive. The boy who once dreamed of the ocean is reborn in blood and fire. The survivors flee toward Wall Rose as Shiganshina collapses behind them. Smoke rises like a funeral pyre. The soldiers fight and fall, humanity's last line reduced to ash and bone. As the refugees pass through the gates, Eren turns back one last time. He sees the wreckage of his home, the monster that took his mother, and the world that lied to him. And then he swears an oath, a vow that will echo across history: I'll kill them all, every last Titan. The gates close. Shiganshina, humanity's outermost district, is gone. Days later, within the refugee camps, hunger replaces terror. The survivors are treated as mouths to feed, not souls to save. Eren's anger festers. Mikasa stands silently by him, her grief buried beneath control. Armin, more aware than either, sees what the adults won't admit. The walls may still stand, but humanity's heart has cracked. And beyond that wall, the colossal titan waits, unseen, unfeeling, patient. They thought the walls were the world. They never realized the world was watching. The flames of Shiganshina fade to embers. In their place, only resolve remains, a boy's rage destined to change history. The first stone of humanity's last stand has been thrown. And soon, the Titans will learn what kind of monster they created. In the ashes of Shiganshina, the children who lost everything found the only thing they could not be robbed of: purpose. Vengeance, courage, and the fragile spark of hope, all born from the same fire that destroyed their world. Years pass. The children of Wall Maria grow in the shadow of fear. Everywhere, people whisper about the Titans, about the day the walls fell, about how no one was truly safe anymore. But among those whispers, 3 names begin to take root: Eren Yeager, Mikasa Ackerman, Armin Arlert. At 12 years old, they enlist in the 104th Cadet Corps. The training grounds become their new battlefield, a place where grief meets discipline, and every bruise is a reminder that the world still wants to eat them alive. They train to use the omnidirectional mobility gear, cables and gas-powered blades that turn humans into darting insects capable of striking a Titan's weak spot, the nape of its neck. But to master it requires something rarer than skill. It requires faith, not in gods or walls, but in yourself. Eren falls, again and again, crashing to the ground in a tangle of wires and curses. The others laugh, until Mikasa steps forward. Her movements are graceful, exact, she lands upright every time. Balance, she says quietly, comes from control. But Eren's rage is louder than his fear. He gets up, bleeding, determined to master the thing that will let him fight back. By the end of training, even the instructors see it: the boy doesn't just want to survive. He wants to destroy. Around the trio, new faces form, young soldiers with laughter still in their eyes, each hiding their own tragedies. There's Jean Kirstein, sharp-tongued and cynical, who dreams not of glory but safety within the inner walls. Sasha Blouse, a wild girl from the woods, who once stole a potato in front of her superior because hunger outweighed fear. Connie Springer, impulsive but loyal. And Reiner Braun, the strong, dependable big brother figure everyone looks up to, the kind of soldier that others follow without question. Together, they train, fail, succeed, and slowly, against the backdrop of death, they rediscover what it means to live. But Armin sees something else. He's the thinker, the one who notices the contradictions. He questions the government, the history books, the way people accept confinement as peace. He and Eren share the same dream: the sea, the world beyond the walls. That dream, small as it is, becomes their rebellion. On graduation day, the cadets are assigned to different branches. Some choose the military police, safe behind Wall Sina. Others the garrison, to guard the walls. And the bravest, or the most broken, join the scout regiment, those who dare to explore outside. Eren chooses the scouts, of course. Armin follows. Mikasa doesn't hesitate, she'll go wherever he does. Then, just as the celebration begins, the ground trembles again. A shadow darkens the horizon. Steam rises. A familiar, skinless face looms above Wall Rose. Without warning, it kicks a hole in the wall again, exactly like 5 years ago. Only this time, Eren is not a boy running for his life. He's a soldier. He sprints toward the breach, blades drawn, wind screaming past his ears. Fear is gone, rage has taken its place. He leaps into the air, hooks latching onto the wall, and for a brief, defiant heartbeat, humanity strikes back. But the Titan vanishes in a cloud of steam. And below, chaos explodes once more. Smaller Titans flood in, devouring soldiers and civilians alike. The Battle of Trost becomes the second Shiganshina, another desperate attempt to hold the line. Eren and his comrades take to the air, slicing through the streets as Titans tear apart the city. One by one, his friends fall. Jean's blade trembles. Sasha freezes. Armin is cornered by a Titan twice his size, paralyzed with terror. And Eren throws himself forward to save him. He shoves Armin out of the Titan's mouth, and in that moment, Eren is swallowed whole. Armin watches, screaming, as his best friend disappears into the darkness. The world slows. The wind dies. And once again, humanity learns how fragile hope really is. Hours pass. The survivors retreat to the rooftops, disbelief in their eyes. Armin blames himself. Mikasa fights like someone who's already dead inside. And then, from the smoke and rubble, something new emerges. A Titan, yes, but different. It fights the others. It kills them with precision, fury, purpose. It's protecting the humans. The soldiers stare. No one understands what they're seeing. Until, after the battle, the strange Titan collapses, and Eren Yeager rises from its steaming carcass. The boy who swore to kill every Titan has become one. When you fight monsters long enough, you learn their language. Sometimes, to save humanity, you must become what humanity fears most. The children of rage and hope stand at the crossroads of destiny. Eren's transformation will shatter not only the laws of nature, but the fragile unity of mankind itself. And behind every secret lies a deeper betrayal waiting to be unveiled. The boy who swore to destroy the Titans now carried one inside him. Humanity had gained a weapon, and in doing so, it had created a new fear. For if a human could become a Titan, then what, truly, separated man from monster? Eren awakens in chains. The cell is dark, damp, and silent except for the faint echo of dripping water. He's not surrounded by Titans anymore, but by people, and their fear is worse. When Commander Erwin Smith and Captain Levi Ackerman enter, the tension feels like a noose tightening. Levi's cold gaze sizes Eren up like a butcher evaluating a blade. He's not interested in Eren's innocence, only his usefulness. The military tribunal that follows becomes a spectacle. Civilians, soldiers, nobles, everyone wants to decide what to do with the boy who turns into a Titan. Some want him executed immediately. Others want to dissect him. Eren stands trembling, not with fear, but with fury. He begs them to let him fight for humanity. But words mean nothing in a room filled with fear. Levi ends the argument his own way, by beating Eren half to death in front of everyone, proving that the scouts can control him. Bloodied but alive, Eren is assigned to the Survey Corps under Erwin's command. The audience gasps, some in outrage, others in awe. Humanity's fate is now bound to a monster. Within the scouts, Eren finds allies and suspicion. Mikasa and Armin remain unshaken. But others, Jean, Sasha, Connie, watch him with quiet unease. Then there's Levi's squad, the elite team that must guard Eren with their lives: Petra, Aluo, Gunther, and Eld, veterans who have seen too much to trust easily. In the quiet moments between missions, Petra tells him softly, "If you lose control, we'll have to kill you. But until then, we'll protect you." Her words are both comfort and curse. Meanwhile, Commander Erwin's mind is a labyrinth of secrets. He believes Eren is the key to understanding the Titans, not just as enemies, but as something deeper. He speaks of a basement in Shiganshina, Eren's father's secret. Whatever lies inside, Erwin says, might explain everything. On the next expedition beyond the walls, the scouts ride through forests of towering trees, sunlight breaking through the canopy like shards of gold. It's beautiful and deadly. Then, they appear. Titans, dozens of them. But one among them moves differently. Graceful. Intelligent. A female Titan, with eyes that seem to search, not devour. She tears through the formation, crushing soldiers like insects. Her movements are too precise to be mindless. She's hunting someone. She's hunting Eren. Panic spreads. Orders crumble. The scouts fight desperately to contain her. For the first time, humanity realizes the horror of their new reality, Titans that think. Levi's squad finally corners her using traps and cables. Her shriek echoes across the forest, a sound that makes every soldier's blood run cold. Other Titans rush toward her, devouring her before the scouts can uncover her identity. But Erwin's expression stays unreadable. He knows what they've witnessed changes everything. Back inside the walls, tension grows. Who was the female Titan? How did she know Eren's location? And why did she hesitate before killing him? Armin, sharp and observant, starts piecing together the clues. He notices small details, the fighting style, the agility, the moments of restraint. Then it hits him. The female Titan moves like someone they all trained with. Like Annie Leonhardt. When confronted, Annie smiles, not out of guilt, but exhaustion. She transforms before their eyes, her Titan form towering over the city. The battle that follows shatters half of Stohis district. Eren hesitates to fight her, she was once a comrade. But when he sees his friends bleeding, the city burning, and Annie rampaging unchecked, he loses control. The ground quakes as Eren transforms, slamming into her with primal rage. The fight is brutal, two forces of nature tearing through humanity's last refuge. Finally, Eren overpowers her, trapping her in crystallized stasis, a self-imposed prison. She becomes humanity's first captured Titan shifter, and their first undeniable proof that monsters wear human faces. After the battle, silence returns. But it's not peace, it's dread. Eren stares at his hands, trembling. The faces of the Titans he's killed haunt him, but what haunts him more are the faces of the humans who became them. He begins to wonder if he's fighting the right enemy. If the real monsters are the ones inside the walls. Levi, always pragmatic, tells him, it's not about who's right. It's about who's left. Eren nods, but the doubt remains. He remembers his father's last words, the key around his neck, the basement waiting in Shiganshina. And he realizes something terrible. To uncover the truth, he'll have to destroy the world's greatest lie. The line between man and monster has been erased. Now, only purpose divides them. As Annie sleeps within her crystal shell and Eren's eyes burn with new questions, the gears of fate turn once more. Behind the walls, secrets whisper. And outside, someone is listening. The truth does not set you free, it breaks you. Humanity thought it had found the enemy. But as the walls began to whisper, as the dead began to speak through memory, they learned that the monsters outside were nothing compared to the monsters within. Months have passed since Annie's capture. But her silence is louder than any confession. Behind the crystalline prison where she sleeps, Commander Erwin studies her, patient, calculating. He knows that if one of their own could be a Titan, others might be hiding among them. The question now isn't if, it's how many. Within the Scouts, paranoia blooms. Trust fractures. Eren trains to control his Titan power, but each transformation drains more of his humanity. He remembers faces, the Titans he killed, and begins to see flashes of their memories, a child's laughter, a soldier's prayer, a mother's scream. He realizes the unthinkable, these Titans were once human. The revelation spreads like wildfire through the Scouts. And with it comes despair. If Titans were humans, Armin whispers, then every battle we've fought, every kill, was murder. The world tilts on its axis. What was once black and white now bleeds gray. One dawn, after a devastating skirmish, a soldier notices something horrifying. A chunk of wall Sina has crumbled, and beneath the stone, a Titan's face is exposed. A Titan, inside the wall. Panic erupts. The church demands silence. The government threatens execution for anyone who spreads the word. But Erwin and Hang Zoe, ever the scientist, refuse to stop digging. They discover the unholy truth. The walls that have protected humanity for a century are made of Titans. Millions of them, hardened, frozen in stone, forming the barriers of civilization itself. Humanity has been living inside a prison built from its own monsters. The walls, Hang murmurs, aren't to keep Titans out, they're to keep us in. The revelation shatters faith. Priests break. Soldiers weep. The foundation of the world, religion, government, morality, begins to crumble. Meanwhile, the Scouts prepare to reclaim Wall Maria, to return to Shiganshina, where everything began. But among their ranks walk two men whose hearts carry a secret burden heavier than any blade. Reiner Braun and Berthold Hoover. Their hands shake as they stand beside Eren, laughing, planning, dreaming of the future, because they know they don't belong here. They aren't just soldiers. They're the ones who destroyed Wall Maria. They're the armored and colossal Titans. When the truth finally slips from Reiner's lips, it isn't shouted, it's confessed, quietly, as if he's too tired to lie anymore. Eren. I'm the armored Titan. He's the colossal. Come with us. Eren freezes. The words don't make sense. Then Berthold transforms, and the city explodes into fire once again. The battlefield is chaos incarnate. Steel and fire rain from the skies. Soldiers scream as the armored Titan crashes through their defenses, the colossal Titan unleashing steam hot enough to melt steel. Eren's rage ignites, not just at the destruction, but at the betrayal. These were his comrades, his friends. Now, they stand revealed as the monsters who killed his mother. He transforms, colliding with Reiner in a battle that shakes the earth. Every punch is personal, every roar an echo of loss. The Scouts fight desperately, grappling through smoke and debris, trying to save their own while facing the unbearable truth that their enemies were familiar faces. Mikasa cuts through soldiers to reach Eren. Armin screams for him to remember his goal, not revenge, but truth. But Eren is consumed. The boy who dreamed of freedom fights like an animal in a cage. Finally, both Titans collapse, broken, exhausted, bloodied. Reiner and Bertholdt retreat with a captive, Emer, another Titan shifter caught between worlds. The scouts limp back home, victory turned to ash. The next morning, under the pale light of dawn, the survivors sit among the ruins. No one speaks. Jean stares at his hands, Sasha weeps silently, Connie prays for his lost village. And Eren, he looks east, toward the sea he's never seen. He has learned too much to ever be innocent again. Armin writes in his notebook, if the walls were built from Titans, and Titans were humans, then perhaps the enemy isn't outside. It's whoever put them there. Erwin stands apart, eyes dark with determination. He knows the final piece of the puzzle lies where it all began, in Eren's basement in Shiganshina. Whatever waits there will change everything. But deep down, even Erwin fears the answer. Because every truth they've uncovered has only led to greater pain. The world is not broken because of monsters. It is broken because of men who built walls around their sins. The scouts ride into the fading horizon, their faith shattered but their purpose renewed. In the distance, thunder rumbles, not from storms, but from Titans stirring in the dark. The world they knew is ending. And the truth waiting in the basement will be the match that sets it ablaze. There comes a moment when truth and hope cannot coexist. The world of walls and lies is ending, and in its ashes, humanity will face the one thing it has feared above all else, freedom. The air is cold, the wind heavy with memory. Years have passed since that first Titan breached Wall Maria. Now, the scouts ride again toward Shiganshina, not as children of vengeance, but as seekers of truth. Erwin leads the expedition, his face drawn but resolute. Beside him rides Levi, silent, unreadable, carrying the weight of too many ghosts. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin follow, older now, scarred, each bearing the marks of loss and purpose. As they cross the desolate fields that were once green, the silence is sacred. No one speaks. They all know this could be the last ride. If we fail, Erwin says quietly, humanity fails with us. The mission, reclaim Wall Maria, reach Eren's basement, uncover the truth. 3 simple steps, and yet, the entire world trembles on their outcome. When they reach Shiganshina, it's like stepping into a memory frozen in ash. The streets are silent, the houses hollowed out. Somewhere beneath the rubble lies the ghost of a boy's mother, and the promise he made to her. Then, a rumble. A sound like thunder breaking the earth. Reiner Braun bursts from the wall as the armored Titan, roaring in fury. Moments later, the ground explodes, and Beast Titan appears outside the wall, commanding an army of Titans with stones and screams. The trap has been set. Erwin's voice cuts through the chaos. Advance. And the scouts charge into hell. The battle that follows is chaos incarnate. The Beast Titan hurls boulders like cannon fire, shattering entire squads. Reiner clashes with Eren, their fists echoing through the ruins. Every soldier who falls buys seconds that might mean the survival of the species. Erwin stands before his men, his arm raised, his voice a thunderclap. My soldiers. Rage. My soldiers, scream. My soldiers, fight. It is not a command. It's a requiem. They charge, knowing they will die. Levi, propelled by grief and duty, cuts through the storm, reaching the Beast Titan in a blur of steel and vengeance. In seconds, Levi carves Zeke apart, but he hesitates before the final blow. The beast escapes, and the war rages on. When the dust settles, the price is unbearable. Erwin lies dying, his dream of truth slipping away with his final breath. Levi kneels beside him, torn between saving his commander and saving Armin, who's burning alive from the colossal Titan's blast. Levi chooses Armin. Erwin dies with his eyes open, still chasing the unknown. After the battle, the surviving scouts limp toward the Yeager family home. The basement waits, silent and ancient, beneath the ruins. Eren's hands tremble as he unlocks the door. Inside, dust motes float in the still air, the smell of old books and forgotten sins. Armin finds the journals first. 3 volumes. Leather-bound. Inside, photographs, not drawings, evidence of a world beyond the walls. Mountains, oceans, cities, people. The walls were never the edge of the world, they were the cage of one nation, Eldia, hidden from the rest of humanity. The Titans were weapons of war. The world outside is alive, and it fears them. Eren's tears fall silently onto the pages. The truth his father hid has freed him, but only to condemn him to a larger prison. Months later, they reach the ocean, the dream that once kept them alive. The waves crash, blue and endless. Mikasa laughs for the first time in years. Armin kneels, awed. But Eren stands motionless, staring at the horizon. "This is it," Armin says. "The sea. Beyond it, freedom." Eren's voice is cold. "Beyond it are our enemies." The dream ends where the truth begins. Freedom, he realizes, is not peace, it's just another battlefield. Years pass. The war between Eldia and the world begins. Eren grows harder, his ideals sharper. He learns the truth about the Titan's origin, how his people were cursed, how his father killed to give him power, how his own memories were never his own. The boy who once wanted to save humanity now sees only one path left, to destroy it. He unleashes the rumbling, awakening the Titans sleeping within the walls. 1 billion footsteps shake the earth as colossal Titans march across continents, flattening cities, drowning the world in dust and screams. Eren becomes a god of destruction, the embodiment of mankind's darkest wish, freedom at any cost. Mikasa, Armin, and the others rise against him, their final mission not to save humanity, but to save what remains of it. In the end, Mikasa's blade finds its mark. She cuts down the man she loved to stop the monster he became. As Eren's head falls, his eyes soften, not with regret, but release. If there's a next time, let's live free. The world that follows is not peaceful, but quieter. The Titans vanish. The curse ends. The walls crumble, and people walk through their ruins into the open world. The sea glitters again, not as a dream, but as reality. Mikasa buries Eren beneath the tree they used to rest under as children. Years later, flowers bloom over his grave. The wind carries whispers of the past, of giants, and walls, and the fragile courage of mankind. Armin leads what's left of humanity, not as a soldier, but as a storyteller. He writes, in the end, the Titans were not our enemies. They were our reflection, our sins made flesh. The dream of humanity is gone. What remains is something smaller, and perhaps, more honest, the will to live, even after everything is lost. Every wall falls eventually, the ones built of stone, and the ones built inside us. The end of the world was never the end of humanity. It was only the end of the human dream. The camera pans across the empty walls of Parody, now covered in vines and flowers. A single bird soars into the sky, free, untethered, eternal. Fade to black.